Alaska is one of the least densely populated states in the U.S., and this is no coincidence. Life here comes with many harsh challenges that not everyone is ready to face. First and foremost is the climate. Long, bitterly cold winters accompanied by months of limited sunlight, making it difficult for many to adapt. Additionally, most communities are scattered and far apart. With limited road systems, transportation largely depends on planes or boats. Job opportunities are limited, mainly concentrated in a few specialized industries like oil extraction, fishing, and seasonal tourism. The cost of living is high because most goods have to be shipped from the mainland, while access to health care, education, and modern amenities is difficult in remote areas. The vast wilderness is both a valuable resource and a major challenge, as frequent encounters with bears, moose, and other wildlife can pose safety risks for residents. Furthermore, natural disasters such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and avalanches are constant threats. Snow-blanketed forests stretch endlessly beneath towering, majestic peaks that pierce the sky, framed by crisp, clear mountain air. Because of all these factors, many people choose not to settle in Alaska long-term, which explains why it seems almost forgotten on the map of American settlements. However, interestingly, it is precisely these harsh conditions that help preserve the pristine, majestic, and captivating beauty of Alaska's wilderness. For this reason, although it may not be an ideal place to live, Alaska remains an unmissable destination for those passionate about exploration, drawn to the wild, and eager to experience a part of the world where nature's pure beauty remains untouched. Let's explore some of Alaska's most unique places. And who knows, by the end, you might just find yourself wondering if this wild and beautiful land could be your next home. Unalaska Island, located in the Aleutian Islands chain of Alaska, is one of the largest islands in this remote volcanic archipelago. its location along important shipping routes between the North Pacific Ocean and the Bering Sea. The island's topography is volcanic in origin, resulting in a landscape that consists primarily of rugged mountains, volcanic cones, and uneven coastlines. Unalaska Island has traditionally been inhabited by Aleutian peoples for thousands of years, whose cultural practices and livelihood patterns have adapted to the island's climate. In recent centuries, the island became strategically important during World War II, as it was the site of military operations and installations. Economically, Unalaska Island is known for its role in the commercial fishing industry, particularly as the site of one of the busiest fishing ports in the United States. Research initiatives on the island typically focus on volcanic activity, marine biology, and climate studies. The island's mountainous terrain includes several prominent peaks that influence local climate patterns and basin formation. Persistent low clouds often obscure the peaks, affecting visibility and weather conditions important for outdoor and marine activities. Several rivers flow through the mountains, contributing to the supply of fresh water and the transport of sediments into the surrounding marine environment. The island's coastline is extensive, exhibiting significant geological variation shaped by tectonic and erosional processes over time. The marine environment surrounding the island supports a variety of species, including sea lions, which play an important role in the local ecosystem. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. What is Montana's rank in terms of land area among all U.S. states? Extending across the Kenai Peninsula, the Kenai River stretches roughly 82 miles from its source to Cook Inlet. Originating at Kenai Lake, the river winds through mountainous terrain, wetland areas, and forested valleys. Popular among sport anglers, it is especially known for hosting some of Alaska's largest king salmon runs. Tourism infrastructure in the region has developed around seasonal fishing, with charter services and gear rentals widely available. Surrounding communities rely heavily on the river for both economic activity and recreational access. Regulations set by state agencies manage catch limits, species protection, and access zones to ensure sustainability. Downstream sections feature more sedimentation, while upper reaches remain colder and swifter. Infrastructure along the river includes bridges, trails, and viewing platforms constructed with ecological sensitivity. Stewardship groups coordinate habitat restoration projects along eroded or trampled banks. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. The bay is characterized by its sheltered position, enclosed by steep ridges and limited access points from open waters. Hydrologically, it receives inflows from nearby streams and seasonal runoff, supporting a mix of saline and freshwater conditions. Tidal fluctuations play a significant role in shaping sediment distribution and shoreline configuration. The surrounding landforms are primarily composed of metamorphic and igneous rock, indicative of regional tectonic activity. Vegetation zones near the shoreline include dense coniferous stands, intertidal plant communities, and moss-dominated ground cover. Its calm waters offer breeding grounds for fish populations, particularly in estuarine transition zones. The site holds significance for ecological fieldwork, especially in studies related to coastal resilience, nutrient cycling, and habitat connectivity. Geological surveys in the area have noted evidence of glacial retreat patterns and post-glacial rebound, providing insight into long-term environmental processes. The bay is also monitored for potential changes in marine biodiversity, particularly in the context of ocean temperature shifts and acidification. Historical documentation of human presence remains limited, although the area may have been seasonally utilized by indigenous groups for subsistence harvesting. Natural disturbances such as landslides, storms, and erosion events are recorded periodically and contribute to ongoing coastal change. Data from remote sensing and environmental monitoring stations are used to assess shoreline movement and water quality over time. Anderson Bay remains largely undeveloped, making it valuable as a reference point for baseline environmental conditions. Its relative isolation enhances its scientific value for comparative ecosystem analysis. Archaeological evidence suggests that the area surrounding Endicott Arm was historically used by indigenous Tlingit people for seasonal hunting and fishing. By the 19th century, European explorers and surveyors began charting the fjord as part of broader efforts to map Southeast Alaska's waterways. Conflicts between indigenous groups and Russian or American expeditions occasionally occurred as outside interest in the region grew. During the early 20th century, the fjord drew attention from scientists and geologists studying its active glaciers and unique formations. Eventually, the fjord became part of the federally protected Tracy Armford's Terror Wilderness in 1980, preserving both its ecological and cultural significance. From among Alaska's many destinations, Endicott Arm stands out as a premier choice for travelers and nature lovers. Glacier calving events, where massive ice chunks fall into the sea, remain one of the main attractions drawing visitors to the area. Held within the broader Tracy Arm Fjord's Terra Wilderness, the fjord is recognized for its remote, undisturbed beauty. Ice flows, vertical cliffs, and plunging waterfalls are common sights on boat excursions through the narrow waterway. Just as notable is the quiet and solitude it offers compared to more frequented glacier viewing sites. Known for leaving a deep emotional impact, the fjord is often described as both majestic and humbling by those who explore it. Launching points for trips into Endicott Arm are commonly found in nearby Juneau, with many travelers opting for chartered access. Many who seek deeper reflection or a slower pace find the fjord's untouched environment ideal for personal escape. Nearly free of human development, the area remains one of the most pristine examples of Alaska's coastal wilderness. Positioned along the northern coast of Unalaska Island, Unalaska Bay serves as a key maritime hub in the Aleutian region. Recognized for its strategic location, the bay has long been central to both indigenous use and later international trade routes. Settlements in the area, particularly Dutch Harbour, rely heavily on the bay for access to resources and economic activity. Underlying much of the bay's function is a deep-water harbor, offering safe anchorage even during adverse weather conditions. Variations in tidal currents, water temperature, and salinity contribute to its suitability for diverse marine species. Waste management, vessel regulations, and conservation initiatives are in place to mitigate environmental impact from industrial use. Xenon-based oceanographic sensors have been deployed in the region as part of long-term climate and marine studies. Year-round fog conditions, often dense and persistent, significantly influence transportation schedules and maritime safety in surrounding communities. Zoning regulations govern shoreline development, aiming to balance ecological protection with infrastructure demands. All sectors operating around the bay, from fisheries to logistics, coordinate with regional agencies for safety and compliance. Beyond its economic role, Unalaska Bay also holds cultural importance for Aleut communities with long-standing ties to the area. Conflict history, particularly during World War II, has left physical remnants and memorial sites around the bay's perimeter. Data gathered from this region continues to inform fisheries management, coastal planning, and environmental assessments in western Alaska. Amid the remote valleys of south-central Alaska lies the spectacular Knik Glacier, surrounded by towering peaks and endless wilderness. Pioneers and early Alaska Native peoples once traveled through this valley, relying on its rivers and terrain for seasonal movement. Amidst the blue icebergs and winding riverbanks, visitors will find a landscape that is both majestic and serene. Formed over thousands of years, the glacier feeds the silt-rich Knik River that flows throughout the valley. Defined by its remote beauty and relative accessibility, it offers a rare opportunity to witness the power of glaciation up close. Spanning nearly 25 miles, the glacier forms a striking contrast to the lush green hills and snow-capped peaks. Wildlife sightings, moose in the brush, bald eagles overhead, and maybe even a bear in the distance, add to the rugged charm. The Knik River, which originates at the foot of the glacier, carries the story of its icy origins all the way to the ocean. Like a frozen river of time, the glacier holds many layers of history in its dense blue ice. Have you ever seen wildlife like bears near Knik Glacier? If yes, comment 2. If no, comment 4. Ancient travel routes of Alaska Native groups often included the Chulitna River, which served as a seasonal corridor for hunting and migration. By the time Russian explorers arrived in the 18th century, indigenous communities had long established patterns of land use along its banks. Cultural knowledge tied to the river includes oral histories, place names, and resource management traditions passed down through generations. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, prospectors ventured into the area seeking gold, using the Chulitna as a natural guide into the interior. Expeditions relied on the river for navigation and access, as overland routes were limited by mountainous terrain and dense forest. Government surveys and geological studies from that era documented both natural features and human activity in the Chulitna watershed. Infrastructure remained minimal for decades, but the river continued to serve as a critical natural feature in the cultural landscape of south-central Alaska. Joint state and federal efforts have more recently aimed to preserve historical and ecological aspects of the river corridor. Knowledge of historical land use, derived from archaeological findings, continues to shape conservation policy in the region. Local historians and indigenous elders have worked together to map traditional trails and campsites, once linked by the river. Military interest during World War II briefly brought increased attention to the region, although no permanent installations were built near the river. Nonprofit groups now engage in educational programs that highlight the river's significance in Alaska's broader historical narrative. Positioned on the western side of Unalaska Island, Summer Bay offers a mix of historical interest and ecological importance. Quiet surroundings and minimal development have preserved much of the bay's natural character despite its proximity to Dutch Harbour. Remnants of World War II-era fortifications remain visible in the area, reflecting the bay's former role in coastal defense strategy. Small boats and canoes are often used to explore the bay's calm waters, providing access to remote areas along the shoreline. Unmarked historic routes used by local Aleut populations have been documented through archaeological surveys in the region. Boat sailing in the bay is common during calm weather, offering both locals and visitors a way to experience the coastal environment from the water. Exploration of the area by scientists continues, particularly in relation to coastal erosion and post-glacial landform development. Our content comes from many sources. If you spot any errors or have something to share, drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. The Knik River flows through south-central Alaska, originating from the Knik Glacier and winding westward toward the Knik Arm near Anchorage. As a glacially fed river, its waters are typically cloudy with fine sediment known as glacial flour, which gives the river its distinct appearance. Seasonal melt strongly influences flow volume, with spring and summer months bringing higher water levels due to glacier runoff. Surrounding terrain includes braided riverbeds, steep-sided mountains, and areas of lowland tundra that support diverse vegetation. Historically, the river corridor served as a travel route for Alaska Native groups, moving between seasonal settlements. Later, during early American expansion into Alaska, the river area saw increased activity from trappers and prospectors. Though no large towns exist along the Knik River itself, nearby Palmer and Anchorage provide access to visitors and researchers. The Knik River Wilderness encompasses a vast, undeveloped area that includes remote forests, wetlands, and wildlife habitat. This designated wilderness is home to moose, bears, beavers, and numerous migratory bird species that rely on the river corridor. Off-road access into the area is limited and seasonal, preserving the region's sense of isolation and natural integrity. The Knik River has also been the focus of environmental monitoring related to glacial retreat and sediment transport. Knik Glacier, which feeds the river, remains one of the most accessible glaciers in Alaska and a major tourist draw. Land use around the river is carefully managed to balance recreation, conservation, and watershed health. The Knik River ultimately contributes to the Cook Inlet system, playing a role in the broader hydrology of the region. It is known for its rugged terrain, which includes dense temperate rainforests and steep mountainous areas. The island covers an area of approximately 1,600 square miles, making it one of the larger islands in the region. Baranof Island is home to several small communities, with Sitka being the largest and most historically significant city. The island's climate is maritime, characterized by mild temperatures and high levels of precipitation throughout the year. Historically, the island was inhabited by the Tlingit people long before Russian explorers arrived in the 18th century. Russian influence remains visible in the island's architecture and cultural heritage, particularly in Sitka. The island also contains parts of the Tongass National Forest, the largest national forest in the United States. Fishing activities on Baranof Island contribute significantly to the region's economy, while adhering to sustainable practices to protect marine resources. Wildlife on Baranof Island is abundant, supported by its diverse habitats, ranging from coastal areas to mountainous regions. Remote and largely untouched, Mukushin Bay offers an escape from urban environments. Geological formations surrounding the area reveal a history of volcanic activity. Limited accessibility preserves the bay's secluded atmosphere. Seasonal variations impact sediment deposits along the coastline. Cultural artifacts found nearby suggest historical significance to native communities. Ongoing conservation efforts aim to protect the bay's natural resources. Advancing and retreating over centuries, Mendenhall Glacier reflects long-term climate patterns in southeast Alaska. Based near Juneau, the glacier is approximately 13 miles long and fed by the Juneau ice field. Climate monitoring programs have documented steady glacial retreat since the mid-20th century. Data from satellite imagery and on-the-ground surveys show measurable ice loss each decade. Elevations across the glacier vary, with crevasses and melt channels forming due to seasonal temperature shifts. Glacier meltwater flows into Mendenhall Lake, which acts as a buffer and outlet for runoff. Ice caves have occasionally formed at the glacier's terminus, though they are unstable and subject to collapse. Juneau residents and visitors alike frequently use the glacier for scientific study and regulated recreation. Knowledge gathered from the site contributes to broader glaciological and climate research worldwide. Landforms in the valley have been shaped by past glacial movements, creating moraines and exposed bedrock. Measurements show retreat rates fluctuating depending on annual snowfall and temperature anomaly. Permafrost and soil development continue in these recently deglaciated zones. Quality of meltwater is monitored to assess sediment transport and ecological impact. Would you be brave enough to walk on the icy trails around Mendenhall Glacier? Let us know why in the comments. Mount Edgecumbe stands along Alaska's outer coast, forming part of an ancient volcanic structure with regional geological relevance. Recent observations recorded by remote sensors indicate upward land shifts consistent with subterranean magmatic pressure accumulation. Teams specializing in geophysics have deployed instruments to measure crustal motion surrounding the central volcanic cone. Historical records suggest no eruptions occurred during modern times, though oral traditions describe unusual environmental disturbances. Subsurface mapping techniques detect irregular heat signatures and subtle vibrations beneath previously stable basaltic formations. Collaborative efforts between universities and federal agencies support long-term monitoring through interdisciplinary scientific frameworks. Field expeditions often include equipment such as GPS arrays, gas analyzers, and mobile seismic recording devices equals. Dutch Harbour lies within Unalaska Island's northern coast, surrounded by natural inlets and expansive subarctic terrain. Infrastructure reflects historical transitions through military presence, maritime importance, and settlement evolution. Isolated location creates logistical dependence on regional transportation routes across Aleutian chain territories. Structures throughout the harbor exhibit architectural adaptations for severe weather exposure and corrosion risks. Surrounding hills provide partial shielding from strong winds arriving across open Bering Sea passages. Residential zones occupy narrow coastal strips, bordered by steep gradients and low-lying estuarine systems. Portage Lake is located in south-central Alaska, near the town of Whittier, and is fed by glacial meltwater from Portage Glacier. The lake formed as the glacier retreated during the 20th century, leaving behind a deep basin, now filled with cold fresh water. Its surface elevation and depth fluctuate seasonally, depending on temperature and the volume of ice melt. Surrounding terrain consists of steep mountains, loose moraine, and remnants of glacial deposits. It is bordered by steep mountains and tidal mudflats, shaped by glacial and marine processes over thousands of years. The Arm experiences some of the highest tidal ranges in North America, with visible bore tides during certain lunar phases. Sediment transport and erosion patterns are influenced by these strong tidal movements and seasonal runoff. Adjacent terrain includes alluvial fans, wetlands, and exposed bedrock common to post-glacial landscapes. It is recognized as a seasonal habitat for multiple whale species, including humpback and gray whales. These whales migrate through the bay during feeding periods, drawn by the availability of krill and small fish. Acoustic monitoring in the area has recorded a variety of whale vocalizations used for navigation and communication. Marine biologists study movement patterns and surface behaviors to understand feeding efficiency and group dynamics. Broad Bay's remote location allows for relatively undisturbed whale activity, compared to more trafficked coastal areas. Whale presence varies depending on ocean temperature, prey concentration, and migration timing. As early as the late 19th century, explorers began recording the extent and characteristics of Matanuska Glacier. Unlike many inaccessible Alaskan glaciers, Matanuska remains one of the most studied due to its proximity to major roads. Driftwood Bay features several small seasonal waterfalls that descend from surrounding cliffs and highland slopes. These waterfalls are primarily fed by snowmelt and rainfall, making their flow rates highly dependent on seasonal weather patterns. Water descends rapidly over volcanic rock formations, carving narrow channels into the steep terrain. Erosion caused by the waterfalls contributes to the gradual shaping of the bay's upper watershed. The elevation difference between inland hills and the coastal plain enables the formation of multiple vertical water paths. Although not large in volume, the waterfalls are considered a consistent part of the bay's drainage system. Located near the city of Unalaska, Captain's Bay forms a sheltered bay along the Aleutian coast. The bay's deep water and strategic location have made it historically important for navigation and anchorage. The surrounding landscape includes steep volcanic mountains and rugged coastal features formed by tectonic activity. A documented shipwreck in the bay serves as a historical marker of the treacherous weather and challenging sea conditions. The wreck remains partially submerged and is occasionally visible at low tide. Its shoreline is characterized by a combination of glacially carved terrain and sedimentary deposits. Tidal fluctuations influence the bay's salinity level and water circulation patterns. Surrounding landforms include low-lying wetlands, forested slopes, and glacial moraines. Documents from past surveys indicate the area has been utilized for small-scale marine navigation for many decades. Cold marine currents enter through connecting channels, affecting water temperature and nutrient levels. Studies of Portage Bay have contributed to understanding coastal erosion and sediment dynamics in high-latitude environments. The bay's location within a broader fjord system makes it part of a complex hydrological and geological network. Water depths vary significantly depending on seasonal runoff and sediment input from upstream sources. Early maps produced by explorers in the 19th century included Portage Bay as part of coastal charting efforts in southern Alaska. The bay contains numerous tidewater glaciers that actively calve icebergs into the water. The landscape is shaped by both glacial and tectonic activity, resulting in dramatic cliffs and deep waters. Seasonal changes affect ice coverage and water temperature, influencing local biodiversity patterns. Glacier Bay has experienced significant glacial retreat since the Little Ice Age, with some glaciers receding several miles in the past century. Long before formal mapping, the glacier was known and referenced in the oral traditions of the Tlingit people. Early European explorers in the 18th and 19th centuries noted large ice formations in the region without specific names. American scientists began documenting the glacier's dimensions in the late 1800s as part of broader geological surveys. Expeditions in the early 20th century established detailed baseline measurements of the glacier's terminus and flow rate. Taku was one of the few advancing tidewater glaciers for much of the 20th century. Hatcher Pass lies within the Talkeetna Mountains of south-central Alaska and is known for its alpine terrain and mining legacy. Road access is seasonal, with snow typically limiting vehicle passage for much of the year. Originally developed due to gold discoveries, the area once supported multiple hard rock mining operations. Structures from the Independence Mine remain preserved as part of a state-managed historical park. Remnants of industrial equipment and bunkhouses offer a glimpse into early 20th century frontier life. Subalpine meadows display dense plant cover during the short growing season, including wildflowers and low shrubs. Trail networks are maintained by a combination of volunteer groups and local agencies. Elevation changes quickly across the region, with steep inclines leading to narrow ridgelines and sheltered basins. Visitors often stay in nearby communities such as Palmer or Willow before driving into the mountainous zone. Permits may be required for certain backcountry activities, depending on timing and environmental conditions. Geological features include metamorphic rock formations and evidence of past tectonic uplift. The area is part of a broader habitat corridor used for research on land use planning and recreational impact. Although cellular service is limited in many sections, emergency communication towers are located near key points. Continued investment in trail infrastructure and safety signage reflects the area's growing recreational importance. Flowing through south-central Alaska, the Matanuska River stretches approximately 75 miles from its headwaters to its confluence with the Knik River. Originating from the Matanuska Glacier, the river receives consistent input from snowmelt and mountain runoff. Channels within the river are braided, creating a dynamic network of shifting gravel bars and sediment deposits. Riverbanks are subject to erosion, particularly during late spring and early summer when discharge increases rapidly. Watershed boundaries encompass portions of the Chugach and Talkeetna mountain ranges. Communities along the river, such as Sutton and Palmer, are affected by seasonal flood risks and sediment transport. Infrastructure like bridges and roads must be designed to accommodate the river's variability and potential channel migration. Water temperature remains cold throughout the year, limiting the range of aquatic species. Sediment carried downstream influences delta formation and affects agricultural zones near the valley floor. Agricultural fields in the surrounding Matanuska-Susitna Valley benefit from rich soils formed by glacial deposition. Hydrologists monitor river flow to assess water availability, potential flood hazards, and long-term trends. Changes in precipitation and snowpack conditions upstream can alter river behavior significantly from year to year. Land use in the watershed is a combination of residential, agricultural, and public recreational lands. Access points to the river vary in development, ranging from maintained parks to informal roadside pullouts. Management responsibilities are shared between local governments, state agencies, and landowners. Early Tlingit populations recognized Gastineau Channel as a vital resource corridor connecting rich marine and terrestrial environments. European exploration reached the region in the late 18th century as part of broader maritime mapping initiatives. Mining interests emerged after gold discoveries in the Juneau area, bringing increased attention to the narrow waterway. Tidal currents shaped both navigation strategies and settlement development along the adjacent coastline. Prospectors and merchants arrived in growing numbers, leading to the foundation of permanent communities nearby. Shipping routes adapted to the channel's depth and tidal limitations, requiring careful scheduling and vessel design. Economic activity expanded rapidly once Juneau became a hub for resource extraction and government administration. Military and logistical use intensified around World War II, with the channel serving as a transport link. Local governance began to focus on managing maritime access and industrial runoff from nearby operations. The mid-20th century saw gradual changes in the coastline due to urbanization. Channel maintenance included dredging to improve navigability and reduce sediment buildup. Civic leaders advocated for environmental regulations as water quality became a growing concern. Legal agreements between federal and local entities established protocols for channel usage and safety. Commercial activity adjusted to evolving infrastructure and transportation technology across the region. Present-day initiatives aim to balance maritime commerce with conservation priorities in the surrounding estuary. Petersville is an unincorporated community located on the southern edge of the Alaska Range. Access to the area is primarily via Petersville Road, which branches off from the Parks Highway near Trapper Creek. Tourism activity includes snow machining, hiking, hunting, and backcountry exploration. Bear sightings are frequent, particularly during late spring and fall months. The creek flows through a valley surrounded by granite formations, giving it its name. These formations, shaped over millions of years, reveal a complex geological history that continues to attract researchers. Its waters were a source of placer gold, which contributed to local mining operations in the past. Early mining and prospecting camps were established along its banks, supporting small mining communities. Over time, mining methods evolved, impacting the creek's landscape and water quality. Granite Creek remains a subject of geological interest due to its unique rock and sediment formations. The surrounding terrain also offers opportunities for hiking and field studies. Wildlife in the area benefit from the creek's fresh water, although some specific species have adapted to the harsh environment. The creek supports a diverse ecosystem, despite occasional disturbances from human activity. Conservation efforts aim to preserve Granite Creek's natural state while balancing recreational and mining interests. clear water in the creek is essential to maintaining the health of downstream aquatic habitats. Sediment transport in Granite Creek plays a role in shaping the surrounding landscape over time. Granite Creek has also been studied for its potential as a renewable hydroelectric power source, although there are currently no large-scale projects. The Susitna River is one of the longest rivers in Alaska, flowing for more than 300 miles. The river originates from glaciers in the Alaska Range and empties into Cook Inlet. The river supports a variety of wildlife, including salmon that migrate upstream to spawn. Local communities rely on the Susitna River for fishing, transportation, and recreation. The picturesque valleys and surrounding mountains make the river popular. The Chena River is a tributary of the Tanana River, located in interior Alaska. It flows for approximately 100 miles, beginning in the White Mountains and passing through the city of Fairbanks. The river plays a central role in the daily life and history of the region. The riverbanks are lined with birch, spruce, and aspen trees, providing scenic beauty year-round. The river has historically been used by indigenous Athabascan peoples for fishing and transportation. In modern times, it helps support tourism and recreation. The Chena River Walk in downtown Fairbanks allows residents and visitors to enjoy the river up close. The river's flow is regulated in part by the Chena River Lake's Flood Control Project, designed to prevent flooding in Fairbanks. This project includes the Moose Creek Dam, which can divert excess water during high-flow events. Water levels in the river can vary greatly depending on snowmelt and rainfall. In some years, flooding has caused significant damage to surrounding areas. The water is cold and clear, though fed by snow and glacier melt from the surrounding mountains. The Chena River State Recreation Area, located upstream, offers hiking trails, campgrounds, and wildlife viewing. Scientists and environmentalists monitor the river's water quality and ecosystem health. Climate change has affected the timing and volume of the river's flow in recent years. Settlers arrived in 1903 and established a small community near Resurrection Bay. The construction of the Alaska Railroad soon turned the town into a vital transportation hub in southern Alaska. Trade and travel increased, and as people used the town to reach the interior. Entrepreneurs saw the value of the ice-free harbor and quickly invested in development. The location made it easier to transport goods and access inland resources. Locals named the town after William H. Seward, who negotiated the Alaska Purchase. Sitka is a beautiful town located on Baranof Island in southeast Alaska. Its natural harbor makes it a popular spot for sailing enthusiasts from around the world. Many visitors come to Sitka for whale watching, hoping to see humpback whales and orcas in the surrounding waters. The town is connected by a small bridge that links different parts of the island. Rocky islands scatter across the nearby channels, creating a stunning landscape for boat tours. Wildlife is abundant, with brown bears often spotted in the forests and sea lions lounging along the shorelines. Sitka's history is rich and deeply influenced by Russian settlers. The Russian blockhouse, built in the early 1800s, stands as a reminder of the town's colonial past. It is one of the oldest surviving structures in Alaska. The waters around Sitka form part of the Inside Passage, a scenic marine route favored by ships and kayakers. Native Tlingit people have lived in the region for thousands of years and continue to preserve their culture. Sitka was once the capital of Russian America before the United States purchased Alaska in 1867. The town's location on a narrow channel provides sheltered waters ideal for fishing and sailing. Natural beauty and historical landmarks attract tourists year-round. Brown bears in the surrounding forests and sea lions in the water highlight Sitka's vibrant ecosystem. It quickly became an important port for miners traveling to the Yukon. The town was named in honor of a Spanish explorer, Prince Valdez, whose legacy inspired early settlers and gave the community a unique historical identity. Early settlers in Valdez faced incredibly harsh and unforgiving weather conditions, as well as rugged and difficult terrain that made establishing homes and infrastructure a significant challenge. Throughout the Gold Rush period, Valdez served as a key supply and staging point for prospectors, providing essential goods and transportation services for those heading deeper into Alaska's interior. In 1910, there was a major proposal to build a railroad that would connect Valdez with the interior of Alaska, aiming to improve access and transportation for both people and resources. The town's strategic location on the sheltered waters of Prince William Sound made it a natural harbor, ideal for ships and trade, which contributed to its growth and economic importance. Due to the breathtaking scenery and the towering mountains that surrounded it, Valdez earned the affectionate nickname Little Switzerland among residents and visitors alike. In 1964, the Good Friday earthquake struck with immense force, triggering a massive tsunami that devastated the town and caused widespread destruction and loss. Much of Valdez was destroyed in the disaster, forcing residents to abandon the original site and relocate to a safer location nearby to rebuild their community from scratch. Reconstruction efforts began quickly after the disaster, with careful planning focused on building a new town that could better withstand future natural calamities. The new Valdez was designed and constructed with improved engineering and urban planning, incorporating safety features to protect residents and infrastructure against earthquakes and tsunamis. Valdez became a major oil shipping terminal after the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline in the 1970s. Nestled at the confluence of the Susitna, Chulitna, and Talkeetna rivers, the town boasts breathtaking views of untouched wilderness, with snow-capped peaks and glistening waters surrounding it on all sides. Talkeetna began to thrive in the early 1910s, growing from a quiet outpost into a bustling little railroad town as the Alaska Railroad extended its tracks through the region, bringing workers, goods, and growth. The community naturally formed around the rivers, which not only provided transportation and resources, but also made Talkeetna a crucial supply base for explorers, surveyors, and laborers heading into the Alaska Range. Long before the arrival of settlers, the area was home to native Athabascan peoples, whose deep connection to the land continues to shape the town's traditions, language, and respect for nature. Today, Talkeetna serves as a world-renowned gateway for mountaineers aiming to summit Denali, the tallest peak in North America, offering flight-seeing tours, gear outfitters, and trail connections. Walking through downtown Talkeetna feels like stepping back in time, with its preserved log cabins, century-old buildings, and locally owned shops that tell the story of a rugged pioneering past. Though small in size, the community is known for its warmth and hospitality, where neighbors know each other by name and visitors are welcomed with genuine smiles and local stories. A major Alaskan waterway stretches roughly 584 miles in length, winding its way through vast wilderness as a vital tributary that ultimately feeds into one of the continent's most significant river systems. The river's name is rooted in the language of the region's indigenous people and is translated to mean Trail River, a fitting reference to the ancient travel routes it once supported. Its headwaters begin at the remote confluence of the Susitna and Nabesna rivers, nestled near the eastern border of Alaska, close to the Wrangell Mountains, in a region characterized by rugged alpine terrain. As it travels in a broad northwesterly arc, the river passes near key transportation corridors, running roughly parallel to the Alaska Highway and skirting the edges of dramatic mountain ranges and rolling foothills. Emerging from its high-altitude origins, the river eventually transitions into wide, flat lowlands, flowing through an expansive region of wetlands, braided channels, and seasonally flooded marshes. Along its journey, several major tributaries, including the Delta River and Tanana River, merge with the main channel, significantly increasing its volume and ecological complexity. The river ultimately empties into the mighty Yukon River, contributing a substantial flow to one of North America's longest and most iconic waterways. Due to the presence of glacial meltwater from surrounding mountains, the river carries a high volume of fine sediment, resulting in murky waters with low visibility that pose challenges for anglers and aquatic wildlife. During the winter months, thick layers of ice, sometimes exceeding 3 feet in depth, form along much of the river's surface, affecting wildlife migration and limiting transportation routes. Archaeological discoveries within the river's watershed suggest that humans have inhabited this area for over 12,000 years, leaving behind tools, campsites, and other evidence of long-term occupation and adaptation. Established in 1914 as a logistical hub supporting the construction of the Alaska Railroad, the city quickly grew in tandem with the region's expanding transportation networks and commercial corridors. Before any permanent settlements were built, the area was inhabited by the Dena'ina Athabascans, an indigenous people who thrived through seasonal migration, fishing, hunting, and gathering across the land. The city's early development was strongly influenced by federal infrastructure investments and its proximity to naturally protected harbors, which provided safe anchorage and access to shipping routes. The devastating Good Friday earthquake of 1964 caused widespread structural damage, prompting sweeping reforms in construction standards, land use planning, and emergency preparedness. During World War II, the strategic location of the city led to a significant increase in military installations and personnel, creating long-term demographic and economic impacts that persist to this day. The discovery of vast oil reserves and the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System during the 1970s triggered a wave of industrial growth, modernization, and population influx. Towering mountain ranges, including portions of the Chugach Mountains, rise dramatically along the city's eastern boundary, shaping both the visual landscape and ecological framework of the region. Well-maintained trails weave through forested foothills and open tundra, offering outdoor enthusiasts access to glacier-fed valleys, alpine lakes, and sweeping views of the surrounding wilderness. The extreme variation in daylight, nearly endless sun in summer followed by dark, cold winters, creates dramatic seasonal shifts that influence daily life, energy use, and mental health. Carefully designed residential neighborhoods are interspersed with protected greenbelts, wildlife corridors, and municipal parks to maintain biodiversity and preserve the city's connection to nature. Weather in the city is often shaped by wind systems from adjacent inlets, which bring fluctuating temperatures and precipitation, especially during spring and fall transitional periods. Annual snowfall amounts vary widely, and these fluctuations can significantly affect road conditions, outdoor recreation, and the movement of animals in and around urban areas. Over time, city planners have revised zoning policies to better balance urban expansion with environmental stewardship, addressing concerns related to wetlands, wildlife, and sustainable development. Museums, cultural institutions, and tribal centers within the city actively work to preserve and share the histories of indigenous peoples, early settlers, and the region's evolution over the last century. In recent decades, tourism has become an increasingly vital part of the local economy, fueled by interest in the area's pristine landscapes, unique ecosystems, and access to remote Alaskan wilderness adventures. Located in the remote mountainous terrain of southeastern Alaska, Juneau proudly serves as both the political heart of the state and a beloved travel destination, known for its unique blend of wilderness and civic life. The city is surrounded on all sides by towering coastal mountains, dense temperate rainforests, massive glaciers, and the icy waters of the Inside Passage, creating one of the most breathtaking natural backdrops in North America. Long before the arrival of Russian and European explorers, the region was home to the native Tlingit people, whose deep spiritual and cultural ties to the land continue to shape the area's identity today. One of the most visited natural wonders near Juneau is Mendenhall Glacier, where visitors can hike a scenic trail that ends at Nugget Falls, a powerful cascade tumbling down beside the blue-hued ice. Wildlife enthusiasts flock to the area during summer months, when humpback whales can be seen breaching, bubble net feeding, and diving in the nutrient-rich waters just off the coast. Due to its rugged geography and lack of overland routes, Juneau is completely inaccessible by road, meaning it can only be reached by boat or plane, which adds to its remote charm and logistical uniqueness. Serving as a lifeline for both locals and tourists, Juneau's busy port not only welcomes cruise ships and ferries, but also plays a crucial role in the city's economy and seasonal transportation network. The Eklutna Tailrace is a vital component of the larger Eklutna hydroelectric project in south-central Alaska, serving as the final outflow channel for water used in power generation. Water from Eklutna Lake is diverted through tunnels and turbines to produce electricity, which helps power several communities in the Anchorage and Matanuska Susitna regions. The Tailrace itself functions as an important aquatic habitat, supporting a variety of fish species such as rainbow trout, dolly varden, and especially salmon, which return here during their seasonal migrations. In recent years, coordinated restoration projects have aimed to improve fish passage and rehabilitate riparian zones along the Tailrace, contributing to a healthier and more resilient local ecosystem. Visitors can explore the area and enjoy scenic views of the river and surrounding wilderness. Often referred to as the totem capital of the world, Ketchikan holds the highest concentration of standing totem poles in North America, showcasing an extraordinary collection of indigenous artistry and storytelling. These towering wooden monuments are carved with remarkable detail and vibrant symbolism, each one representing the spiritual beliefs, clan heritage, and oral histories of the Tlingit and Haida peoples who have lived in the region for centuries. Totem poles serve not only as beautiful artworks, but also as narrative tools, conveying tales of ancient legends, family lineage, and historical events important to the tribes. Visitors can admire these cultural treasures at sites such as Totem Bight State Historical Park, Saxman Totem Park, and the Totem Heritage Center, where preservation and education go hand in hand. Beyond its cultural artifacts, Ketchikan is visually striking, with rows of brightly painted wooden houses perched tightly on steep hillsides and narrow boardwalks that weave through the town. This iconic architecture reflects the city's practical need to adapt to its coastal geography, where homes were traditionally built on stilts over tidal waters to protect against flooding and maximize usable land. As one of the first ports of call for many cruise ships entering Alaska's Inside Passage, Ketchikan often serves as travelers' first impression of the state's misty forests and coastal beauty. For those who venture beyond the docks, the town provides access to unspoiled wilderness, offering a deep dive into both Alaska's natural wonders and its indigenous cultural heritage. Nestled in the heart of southeast Alaska, Ketchikan is surrounded by the Tongass National Forest, the largest temperate rainforest in North America, as well as a maze of scenic rivers, islands, and inlets. Proudly known as the salmon capital of the world, the town has a long and storied connection to the fishing industry, particularly the seasonal runs of wild Pacific salmon that define local life and economy. The rhythms of the community remain closely tied to salmon through fishing, festivals, traditional foodways, and the carving of totem poles that often incorporate salmon imagery. towering green mountains, glassy bays, and waterfalls cascading from sheer cliffs create a breathtaking backdrop that has earned the town a reputation for unforgettable natural scenery. Outdoor enthusiasts will find plenty to do, whether it's casting a line for king salmon, paddling through hidden coves by kayak, trekking forest trails, or watching whales breach in nearby waters. The area now known as Palmer, Alaska, was originally home to the indigenous Dena'ina people who lived throughout the Matanuska Valley and relied on the land for hunting, fishing, and seasonal gathering over countless generations. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Russian traders and Orthodox missionaries made their way through the region, leaving behind cultural and religious influences that would later blend with American settlement. Following the 1867 purchase of Alaska from Russia by the United States, American pioneers and prospectors began migrating into the area, drawn by its natural resources and strategic location. A turning point in Palmer's history occurred in the 1930s when the town underwent dramatic transformation due to a large-scale federal resettlement initiative. In 1935, at the height of the Great Depression, the U.S. government launched the Matanuska Colony Project, aiming to provide struggling families with a fresh start and to boost domestic food production. As part of the project, more than 200 farming families from Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin were selected and relocated to the fertile Matanuska Valley, where they were tasked with building a new agricultural community from the ground up. These families brought farming experience and helped shape Palmer's identity. To ensure the colony's success, the government supplied land parcels, basic farming equipment, and financial assistance, laying the groundwork for a rural economy that continues to thrive in the region today. After the discovery of gold in the nearby Tanana Hills in 1902, prospectors and fortune seekers poured into the area, hoping to strike it rich in Alaska's frigid but promising interior. Around that same time, trader E.T. Barnett, originally intending to establish a trading post farther upriver, set up a riverboat stop that soon evolved into a permanent settlement and the foundation of what would become Fairbanks. Fueled by the influx of miners and the demands of the gold rush, the small outpost quickly expanded into a bustling town, growing rapidly as a result of commerce, labor, and the lure of gold. Due to its strategic location, Fairbanks developed into a key supply and transportation hub for Alaska's vast and remote interior, serving miners, trappers, and settlers who relied on the town for goods and services. During World War II, the U.S. military recognized Fairbanks' importance and constructed nearby bases such as Ladd Field, enhancing national defense efforts in the northern frontier and increasing the local population. The construction of the Alaska Highway in 1942 further cemented Fairbanks' connectivity, creating an overland route that linked the region to the rest of the United States and facilitated military logistics and civilian travel. In the 1970s, the discovery of oil on Alaska's North Slope and subsequent pipeline development brought a new wave of economic opportunity, transforming Fairbanks into a support center for the energy sector. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline System, running just north of the city, turned Fairbanks into a critical node for transporting crude oil from Portage Bay to the southern port of Valdez. Despite enduring long, harsh winters and facing periods of economic uncertainty tied to resource cycles, Fairbanks has shown resilience and remains a vital part of Alaska's social and economic landscape. It serves as a gateway to the Arctic and a center for science and education. A massive ice formation stretches from high mountain ranges down to meet the ocean, carving a deep valley through rugged peaks. Classified as a tidewater glacier, this icy river interacts directly with salt water, influencing its behavior and surroundings. A breathtaking coastal area in southern Alaska is famous for its deep fjords and abundant wildlife. Seals often rest on the rocky shores, adding life to the pristine waters. Boats glide quietly through the calm bays, offering visitors breathtaking views of glaciers and marine life. Towering mountains surround the sound, their snow-capped peaks reflecting beautifully on the water. There's no place more wild, rugged, and breathtakingly beautiful than Alaska's Denali National Park and Preserve, and no place more ideal to experience it from than Denali Park Village. Our lodge and cozy cabins are located in the heart of Alaska's magnificent interior, with awe-inspiring views of some of the most pristine geography on Earth. Flowing from British Columbia into southeast Alaska, the Taku River spans approximately 100 miles before reaching the sea near Juneau. Cross-border in nature, the river is shared between Canada and the United States, requiring binational cooperation for monitoring and resource management. Its drainage basin includes glaciated peaks, dense boreal forests, and high-elevation plateaus. Located in Alaska's Chugach National Park, Glacier is a prime example of how subarctic geology and climate largely determine its environment. The landscape features vast glaciers, persistent snow cover, and numerous naturally formed ice structures resulting from long-term glacial movement. These formations are the product of complex interactions between temperature fluctuations, precipitation patterns, and the topography of the terrain. Glacial meltwater combined with regular precipitation feeds into the bay, creating a consistently cold and nutrient-rich environment that supports a diverse array of marine life. Tidal currents influence sediment distribution and water circulation within the bay, affecting local marine ecosystems. Brown bears are often seen fishing for salmon along the riverbanks. Beaver Lake is a freshwater body located within a forested area, known for its clear waters and peaceful surroundings. Wildlife commonly observed around Beaver Lake includes beavers, which play a crucial role in maintaining the local ecosystem. Shaishnikof River runs through the remote Alaska Peninsula, characterized by rugged landscapes and flowing toward the Pacific Ocean. The river's winding course remains largely untouched by human development, preserving its pristine natural state as it flows through expansive and remote wilderness areas. Throughout the year, seasonal changes significantly affect the river's water volume, with springtime snowmelt dramatically increasing flow level and shaping the surrounding ecosystem. Geological features along the river banks reveal volcanic history typical. Knik Lodge Wilderness covers a vast area with diverse terrain ranging from dense forests to limestone mountain ranges. This region is notable for its rich ecosystem, including numerous endemic plant species and thriving native vegetation. A network of rivers, streams, and lakes is evenly distributed throughout the area, playing a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance. Strict management policies have been implemented to safeguard the environment and ensure the area's natural condition remains intact. The vast solitude and expansive open spaces further reduce human impact, playing a crucial role in preserving the land's pristine and untouched character. Despite its challenges, Montana's vast open spaces and rugged beauty continue to inspire those who value freedom and nature. Life here may not be easy, but the reward is a peaceful lifestyle surrounded by breathtaking landscapes and abundant wildlife. For many, Montana is more than just a place to live. It's a chance to experience life at a slower, more meaningful pace. As we explore more about this remarkable